Hello, everyone. You're listening to the Small Business Show. My name is Swire. You can also call me the promo guy. Today, my guest is Jojo and Kyle Mester from Brick-and-Mortar. They have a burning desire for something more than a corporate grind. Jojo and her husband stumble upon a franchise opportunity that ignite their passion. Despite facing countless challenges and self-doubt, they refuse to give up. Through resourcefulness, strategic planning, and unwavering determination, they turned their brick-and-mortar business into a thriving venture. Now they release the freedom of being their own bosses and find joy in helping others sidestep the struggle of new business ownership. Jojo's and Kyle's journey is a testament to the power of resilience and the reward that come from embracing the unknown. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Swire.
It's a great intro. I like that.
I
Excited
think
to
this
be
is
here.
the first time that I'm having two guests on at the same time. So yeah, it's a new one for me.
Hey,
Nice.
we aim to bring out the best in people and challenge everybody, right?
I love to hear more about the back journey. How did you guys started your own first franchise experience? Now you're helping others to go through the same experience. What do you learn? What do you like most about what you do?
Yeah. Yeah. Our journey's been interesting. We actually were recording a podcast episode this morning about validating your business idea. And it kind of took us back to when we first got started. And we were both working 9 to 5s, and we were just kind of looking for a way to bring in some extra income, like an investment opportunity. We didn't even think of it as like a career change or anything like that. And we fell upon a franchise that sounded like a great opportunity at the time and just went all in with it. And we had no idea what we were in for. Like a few years later, we wound up leaving our 9 to 5 jobs, going all in, opening multiple locations, and we found a lot more joy in it. We were making a lot more money doing it, and it's been quite the journey. But we made a lot of mistakes along the way, and even being in a franchise, we didn't have a lot of support in the beginning. So as we started opening more and more locations and learning more and more, we were like, man, we got to go help other people that are opening businesses, because there's not a lot of help out there. There's so much help in the digital space, but when it comes to the brick and mortar physical space, there's not a lot of guidance on what to do and what not to do. So that's kind of what sparked us to want to get out there and help other people.
Yeah, we did what everybody, kind of does, and thought we were going to live the American dream and open 3 subways and just live off of this passive income that we had. And I'll be honest, this was kind of a passion project of Joann's, and we got involved. And one thing we always say was try not to burn any bridges. So one of my friends was already pretty heavily involved in the franchise. And we were lucky he opened the books up for us, and it just was a no-brainer. And we just kept pushing forward. One thing led to the next, and kept networking and getting in and evolving. And pretty soon we had 3 stores, and we were pivoting into broader offerings and things like that. And it just the side, like we always say, that the side hustle became our main hustle then. So it just made sense. And what we do now with the Brick-and-Mortar Academy is our whole thing. What we say is we're here to make sure you don't make that $50,000 mistake. We've done it. We've done it multiple times, and we're trying to prevent you from making that mistake. We don't know everything that there is to do, but we certainly know what not to do. Right?
Yeah.
Right. Thanks for sharing. And I think today, like we're talking off camera, is the perfect time to ask you this question. Right now we are the week after Black Friday. We just passed the Cyber Monday. At least from what I can see, sales are coming up, and I actually see more people at the store. So let's speak on the brick and mortar side of the business. What have you seen so far, and with clients that you work with? What are the feedbacks from them so far?
Yeah. No, it's always exciting to see around the holidays. Everybody sets big goals, and it's always exciting to see it when they reach them. But yeah, I've seen a lot of people like praising about their sales over the past weekend. I know it's really interesting because obviously with the product space, you have people coming into the store to buy a lot of products, which we did see. And then with the clients in the service space, what's great about that is they can purchase services, online, gift cards and things like that. So I think we saw a lot of people with really successful gift card promotions, and especially in that services space, Cyber Monday pushing that you can still buy online and get them to come in the store later, which is always a good strategy. And I know us personally, we had a great successful weekend. Our promotion continues to run through the end of the month, but it's been a good one so far. So you didn't see a dip like some people were worried about.
Yeah, we see, after doing this for 5 years, we can kind of anticipate a lot of things. We run a semi-annual sale that corresponds with the Black Friday, and everybody kind of takes advantage of that. So it's really just a cash flow thing that we notice. And we're lucky enough that we've diversified enough, and being in the wellness space and what we do, stress relief, things like that. It can be, like a luxury item, but not really. Self-care really is a necessity, especially now with the economy and things of that nature. And holidays do kind of bring out that stress. So one thing we've noticed is we've made ourselves almost essential. So it's nice we don't see as many peaks and valleys.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's good to know. And what I want you to do is kind of like a hard question, but then I think we should answer it. Is brick and mortar business dead?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No, people still crave that, taste, touch, feel, everything. And that's one thing that we push in brick and mortar, is that you have to build your business, because they can just go online. People want to see the things, touch them, feel them, sample them, and that overall customer experience. So I will say, transactionally, okay, maybe, but you need to build your business for the customer experience, and the customer experience, human connection, things like that nature, that never goes out of style.
Yeah. Yeah. I think like when people think brick and mortar business is dead, it's not dead, but the way that people are, setting up their businesses is evolving. Like people are looking for experiences and more of that experiential retail rather than just coming in and buying a product, because you can do that online. And even services, there's so many services that you can go in and experience the service, but what is the total experience from the minute you walk in the door to the time you leave? Like, how are you thinking about that experience? And is that an experience people want to come back to time and time again? And there is something to that. And I know when we first opened, we were just thinking about the products we were selling and not about the total experience. And we were doing it all wrong. And, now we think about how are people experiencing our business when they walk through the doors, because that's what's going to bring people back. They're not coming back just to buy a product. They're coming back for an experience.
Can you offer an example? Because obviously when we talk about, you mentioned the wellness industry, and I know apparel, even electronics are, you can find the same thing online, sometimes cheaper. And then you don't have to have the storefront, some of the retail employees. So like your bottom line, it's less, I would say. But, if you actually be there to touch those products, and you can, the store owner can create some type of experience, then people keep coming back. Because I'm thinking about things that I would go to retail, like I like gardening, so I would definitely, I bought online, but then it's not a good experience. And I've actually, in my local area with, the computer parts, we actually work to, a computer center. You have to line up 30 minutes to get in, 30 minutes to wait for the parts, and 30 minutes to check out. It's the store is packed. So can you touch on what type of experience should we be considering, and then implement it to the audience?
Yeah. So we always talk about touching on all of your senses. So what are you seeing when you walk into into your storefront that is going to elicit a certain feeling? What are you hearing? What type of music is on? What are you tasting? Are you getting offered, food or drinks, or is that available for purchase? What are you smelling? What are you Are you grabbing samples? Are you sampling? A big thing we're seeing is like co-creation stations. So getting people involved in co-creating or trying out the product. Like, if you like gardening, are you able to go in there and maybe try out the tools? Is there like soil that you can try the shovels and see how you like it or how you use it? If we're talking tennis shoes, can you actually try that on different terrains, and experience something? Because you're able to see, okay, do I like these tennis shoes on concrete or gravel, rather than just guessing online, right? So I think things like that really come into the play here.
And and actually having a spot for them to do that. We could sit there and talk about it, but we're real big into samples. We believe you sell what you sample. So we're always giving out samples, whether they make a purchase or whatever. And a lot of times people just come in because they want to see what we have that's new. And what do you got that's new? What do you got that, just I wanted your thoughts. And a lot of it is marketing yourself or branding yourself as an expert, to where people have questions about things that aren't necessarily even in your realm, but kind of align a little bit. And just because you've built that trust and that honesty, that they go to you for things like that. I mean, I get calls on supplements and stuff like that we don't even sell. We get it all the time, but it builds that brand loyalty. And then when they come in with either questions or whatever, we're there for them. And then they learn something new about something else too, which is a big thing for us.
So what you're saying, I think, is a mindset shift a little bit. So not only you can own a brick and mortar store, you can actually utilize online presence. Maybe you do a video at your store, and then you live stream it, everywhere. Then people will know you own that store. And then for people who can come in, they will come in and see you. At the same time, you are building a name for yourself for the related industry. So you can actually use both and not just set on, this is my store and I'm just going to be there.
Yeah, you could be either or, right? The key is the data capture and getting their information. Because then, like, even now we're talking like personally, granular ground level at our store here in Dallas, like, because our network was so much bigger, it wasn't all in-store transactions. It was a lot of online, because we were able to retarget them, give them additional offers, things of that, and bring them in throughout the year. Now leading up to the sale, we've also been able to bring them valuable content as well, so that we're kind of top of mind for them all the time.
Yeah, I think in this day and age, you have to have a hybrid model. You have to be online, but having that physical storefront presence is huge to build your brand. And now people trust us. They've been into our store. They know that they can come in and ask us questions, but they can also buy online. And having that both is huge.
What are your thoughts about, finding the ideal client? Because a lot of times I think store owners, especially if you're in the wellness space, right? Everyone needs it. But with the product, or maybe the price point, maybe the product that you sell are not for everyone. So how would you advise a store owner to determine who they should target, and then to create the experience that's relevant to those people?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think it can evolve too, right? And the ability to, when we first originally opened, we were looking for the 40-year-old female head of household, because then we decided that. And then we also put our first location where that was very prevalent. It lined up where we were, and you can work it either way. You can either find your, who are you personally too, right? Who do you enjoy speaking to? Who have you had success with? Who's going to enjoy your product? And then go to them, or you can go to a location and then figure out what. So you can work it either way. And like I said before, it evolves. It always evolves, and you need to be nimble for that too.
I think that is the neat thing about having a storefront, is you can, kind of adjust your physical offerings, like your products or services, to meet the needs and the demands of that location. Like, I know when we had multiple locations, one location was catering a bit more towards one demographic, and we were able to put different products there that catered to that demographic versus another location. So, you can kind of see what the needs are of the people within that area and then meet that.
You can look, kind of within your 100-yard circle there and see what's there. Like, what are the other businesses around you? Who are they drawing in? So then that's just organic foot traffic, and work those kind of like businesses, which is really key, But as far as, determining, I've never been super concrete as to who. Yes, of course you want to start somewhere, but always kind of maneuver that. And, we've placed products in different areas, different price point products to attract different things. One is more educational, whereas the other one is a lot more transactional, I would say, whether it be with the, not necessarily the layout of the store, but some of the literature at the stores, things like that. Our sales processes, a lot more demonstrations, as opposed to, here's the product, here's your money, see you around town.
Yeah, I see the display. I think some of the best use scenario. Obviously, they put a lot of study and money and resource to it. Is the supermarket, right? So whenever there's a football game, you know that when you walk right in, you have the
Yeah.
beer, you have the chips, but then when you
Yes.
go down the aisle, there are other things. So like you might go there for one thing, but you walk out for a lot of
Mhm.
things that you don't need. And Costco is another example. They're evil to serve you all the sampling, right?
Yeah.
So when
Right.
you walk out, you're buying like a bunch of stuff that
Yes.
Right.
you didn't want to buy initially.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sampling is so big.
Yeah.
Sampling is so big.
Yeah, there's a reason they put the eggs and the milk at the very back of the store. So you got to walk through the whole store. You're going to pick up 5 things on the way there, so you're always put your basics at the very back, make people walk through the whole space.
So let's talk about starting a brick and mortar business. And I wanted to use the example because since doing the small business show in the early 2020, a lot of people that I talked to actually, they used to have a corporate job or they work for someone. Now, because of COVID, they unfortunately lost their job, but a lot of them are actually happy. They are now starting their own thing now. But it gets to the point that we are back in the in-person experience and actually some of them are thinking about creating a brick and mortar business. So how
Mhm.
would you advise them first to look and then to find the location and then to create the experience that the audience would like to see?
Yeah.
Join the academy.
Yeah.
That's what I would say. I mean, literally, that's exactly what we go through. We take you through, validating your idea all the way to how to negotiate a lease. I mean, there's a huge long process. I mean, we have all types of resources for that, but Jojo could talk about a lot of this. We have different free resources and all types of things to get you to move you along that process. In the
Yeah.
beginning, we talked about it today. We did on the podcast today was, validating your idea, was first of all, do you care about things like this? Is this something
Mhm.
that you could be an expert in? Stuff like that. But no, it's literally what the brick and mortar academy does.
Yeah, definitely look into Brick-and-Mortar Academy. We walk you from idea all the way to grand opening on exactly the steps you need to take to get open for your business. But, number one that I would recommend, just a few things here, is take the time to validate your market as far as, go look at your competition, see how you're going to be different. Competition isn't a bad thing, but you
Right.
do want to make sure that you can set yourself up to offer something different. To set yourself apart and take your time in that location phase. I mean, that's the biggest mistake I think we see people making, is jumping in on a location that isn't a good one, that isn't where their demographic is, where traffic is, foot traffic, drive-by traffic.
Or not
And
jumping in too, right? A lot of times
Mhm.
we see people almost discouraged and overwhelmed with the process, right? I mean, it's
Mhm. Yeah.
because
Yeah.
there is no roadmap per se, but I think, with things like that, like you said, validating the business, taking it all the way through, I mean,
Yeah.
it's there.
What
For
What are
sure.
some of the questions that you would want them to ask themselves? A lot of brick and mortar will try to compete with online pricing, but you shouldn't be doing that because you're, like we were talking, you're depending on the experience. So, what initially are the questions that you ask a potential business owner before they start a brick and mortar, like to find the niche and to do the market research?
Yeah. So, I mean, one thing that we tell them to do is to go look at their competitors and ask them, what are they doing well and what are they not doing well, and where is there a gap? A lot of people will do this by going and physically visiting these
Right.
competitors, and then also looking at the reviews. Like, are people complaining constantly about the same thing at their competition? So that can really give you great insight on how to set yourself up. Another thing is, go ask people in that local community what their needs are. Like, get on Facebook groups, get on Nextdoor, go tell people, hey, I'm thinking about opening a donut shop. What's something that you guys would want to see? What's something that you don't get at your current donut shop? I mean, whatever your niche is, but ask people if you have current customers, if you have a home-based business, ask those customers, send out a survey to really understand what the needs are. And because you might be surprised, like if you're thinking about offering these core products, you might be surprised that the needs are actually something else.
Right.
And so really understanding what that is from the beginning. And there's lots of easy ways that you can do that. When you think of market research, you think you have to do these really hard, complicated industry studies, but just go out and ask people and listen to people in your local community and see what their needs are.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. So what do you think the number one reason that people didn't start a brick and mortar business? Is it because of the location? Is it because of cost? Or do you think it's stressful really to own your own store?
It's the fear of unknown, right? And they see these long lease terms, 3 years,
Right.
5 years, volatility, things of that nature. I mean, that's truly what it is. I think a lot of people, and of course it could be financial, but if you've ever sold anything, you understand. If you see it's never really cost. People will come up with the money that they wanted. It's do you in it enough, or are you passionate enough about it? And that's really where we dig it. We start with like when you're 3 years in, like, are you still going to be in love with this thing? It's like, do you have that? Because undoubtedly you are going to face challenges for sure.
Yeah, I think just like with any business, I think what, scares people the most is that you have a larger upfront investment in the beginning, and it takes time to make that back, but you also have, a bigger opportunity to make a lot more money. I know, with online businesses, it can take you time to really start making money, but I've seen some of these brick and mortar businesses soar from day one. But it's a big jump when you're thinking about investing $50, $100, $200,000 in the beginning. It's scary. Sure.
I think as we've, you go through school and things like that, you have this, you're almost brought up to, respect bosses and authorities and things like that. You're kind of conditioned to live that, that Henry Ford 5-day work week, that's a thing. And to break that is it's scary, and you're kind of on your own, and you don't have an ability, if something goes wrong, you can't call your manager. And that's a thing, and that's a thing. That's really the biggest, and then we always kind of pivoted and say, well, what would be the fear of missing out? Like, what are you missing out on? And if you're living this, obviously something has happened, or you feel a certain way that wants you to even go along this fact-finding journey to open this. Well, what are we trying to avoid? And does that change if you don't change? If you don't take the opportunity to do this, to jump, everything's going to stay the same. So it's, and time is going to pass regardless. So you might as well at least vet it out and try it out, is what we said.
Yeah, so I think it has to be unique, and as we keep saying it, the example for creating the experience. Because if they could find the same thing online cheaper, then they will do online cheaper. But if you are the only place that they could find the experience, or maybe the product is the same, but you can give them the advice, it could go on the wellness space, right? You have your protein product, you have maybe your beauty product. How do you use it? Like, do you even know how to put it on? Right. So, but if you are the expert who could show them, or even you could, some of the smart ones, they actually do workshops where you have to pay them, right? They take you in for a couple hours, or maybe afternoon. You pay them. At the end, you buy so much product. You're ashamed to tell a friend. But these are the experience that they cannot get elsewhere, but only for you.
Right.
And they tell their friends. Right?
Yeah.
Which is the thing. I went to this place. It was really different. It was really neat. It was, I got honest. The guy was honest. It was clean. Things like that. I mean, it's.
Yeah. We love classes, workshops, networking events, any sort of community gatherings. Like, that is just phenomenal. Yeah.
How much do you guys value social media to promote a brick and mortar store? And how would you advise people to do that?
Yeah, social media is interesting. I think that we've seen it help our business. I think I've wasted time investing in social media at times in the business. I think, we've all seen social media change so much over the years. Facebook ads continues to be a marketing strategy for us. It helps us get people through the door. It took us time to figure out the right message and offering. I think you have to have a strong offering for people to go from social media to physically walking into a store, you're going to have to use like a really good strategy and a really large, discount or freebie or promotion to get people to, jump on it. Every day, social media, I've seen people have some great strategies and get some huge followings there. But yeah, I think you have to be strategic in the way that you grow your following to make sure that it's local following, using local hashtags, tagging your local location, using local influencers to grow that traffic. Otherwise, you're just growing your following, but it's not people in your local area per se. So yeah. I mean, there's definitely we all want a strong online presence. When people research you and look you up, you want it to represent your brand and show that in-store experience. So, they're seeing what you're offering in store, and wanting to come in there, right?
Yeah, the dollars for I mean, as far as ads and stuff are concerned, it's the reason why we kind of pivoted was to get onto social media. It was strange that our original industry was kind of strange, and we morphed because of it. But and now paid ads are that's one thing, right? Data collection, strong offer, things of that nature. But the other thing is like having the customers that leave, we'll incentivize a lot for them to post and put pictures and stuff on their social. Like that is some of the best marketing. Like, hey, look, if you enjoyed your experience, do me a solid, take pic, and we have the store is set up so that it's very selfie friendly, and it's that way for a reason. So we have spots and there's hashtags and certain things like that kind of entice them to do that. And people share. I mean, we get all the time, someone will come in who was super positive about the experience. And then they'll be like, well, I saw my friend had a post on Instagram or whatever, did some TikTok, and now I just got to come in. Like that's some of the biggest, and you have to have that unique, interesting experience and foster that, that's the best social media, I would say.
We've been talking about 20 somewhat minutes now. It seems like you have to know everything to start. So for really a business who are thinking about brick and mortar, do I really have to know everything before I start? Like, what would you say is the minimum base you have to know to start a brick and mortar business, other than the product knowledge for your particular industry or products?
Well, I mean, question. When we got started, we knew nothing. So you don't have to know everything about brick and mortar business. You can learn as you go. You can make a lot of mistakes like we did, right. Or you can learn from us and we'll help you get through that. But no, I mean, I would say you do want to take some time to have a solid business plan. People will tell you don't need a business plan, but taking that time is huge, just to understand those things about your market and where the best location. But a lot of this stuff is just like any business. You can learn as you go. There are some big things you don't want to mess up along the way, like just choosing the right location and negotiating your lease well. And, you want to have the right experience. But a lot of this, like Kyle said, evolves and changes. And that's the great thing. You can change the design of your store. You can change which products you have or what services you offer. And a lot of these things can adapt and evolve and grow with you. So you don't need to be an expert at everything in the beginning. You really don't.
Yeah, I would just learn your differentiator. That's what I would say. I mean, that's really like, why are people going to drive past your competitor to come to your store? I mean, like that's the biggest thing. And that's really what we kind of dig in. But really, like, as far as overall knowledge, like it's a mentality. Like it's a mentality more than anything else. And obviously I'm biased here, but I think Joann has had this, like, especially in the beginning, had this can-do attitude and really believed. And even when we heard no's, because you are undoubtedly going to hear no, do you have that drive? Do you have that want to or ingenuity to figure out how to get this done? Yes, the city is saying I can't do this, 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 and this, but how can we not manipulate, but how can we circumvent that and actually get this done? And, using those no's is a challenge more than anything else. But mentality is the biggest thing I think here, because we've learned so much. And honestly, at 42 years old, I don't learn anything until I totally mess it up first and then do it again and do it the right way. So I learn lessons the hard way. But yeah,
yeah, it seems like we're in the same camp, Kyle. So like that's why I started Small Business Show. Like if I would have learned all this technique that my guests show me every week, then the Swire 20 years ago would be a lot better.
Right.
Yeah, right. Like, I mean, like simple things like negotiating leases and stuff like that is like we paid out the head for that stuff. You know what I mean? So it was like now you can learn as you live and learn. You just get better at it.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I think you guys are doing a good job for creating the academy for a roadmap because, for example, like I don't even know I have to do the legal structure to start a company. I thought I just do whatever that I'm good at to do it. Didn't know about accounting, bookkeeping, and didn't know about
Mhm.
a lot of things. But they're an expert that who already done it to show you that
Yeah.
could save you sometimes years of your
Oh,
time.
yeah,
Yeah.
huge.
Right.
I mean, knowing the right vendors to use from POS systems to credit card processing. I mean, that's what's great about having a community and people to come to you that you can ask all of those questions. And, you don't have to feel like you got to go through trial and error. You can go from people, use people's,
Yeah, you don't
expertise.
know what you don't know
Mhm.
in the
Mhm.
beginning, right? I mean, and until you get slapped in the face with some reality, you just would never know, and
Yeah.
that's okay, right? You just have to be accepting of that and open and sponge everything up. I mean, really,
Mhm.
that's the whole goal.
Yeah, and not only is that you have no business. What if you have tons of business, and then
Mhm.
now
Yeah,
you're overwhelmed? Then
Yeah.
if you don't have any planning, like Jojo said in the beginning, then people don't want to wait 90 minutes just to go into your store. And I've
Yeah.
seen
no,
store that have success, and now you have to line up for 90 minutes, and people are gone like in a week.
Yeah,
right,
it's true. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, you got to be able to jump on that and grow quickly. You got to know how to hire people. And yeah, I mean, that's a best case scenario, but we have seen people get a lot of demand and not be able to handle it, or they can't go invest in more inventory. So you got to be set up for those
Right.
situations. Yeah.
Yeah, and then people start getting bad reviews because they have to wait so long. But you were getting the momentum, but now like you can build up on top of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can run yourself ragged,
Mm.
and you get good at selling, and we notice this a lot, especially with services. Like you get good at selling, but you still have to fulfill those services. So
Mhm.
you have to, you have to ride that wave, and you have to market accordingly, and it all translates from top to bottom.
Mhm.
So, guys, for listener who are thinking about starting, their brick and mortar business, what would be a good way to reach out to you? And can you talk a little bit more about your academy?
Yeah, so we have an online program. It's called Brick-and-Mortar Academy. You get a completely pre-recorded roadmap with training lessons on everything you need to know about opening a brick-and-mortar business, from validating your business idea to how to find and secure a location, to your build-out systems and processes that you need to set up, how to start marketing your business, and how to run a successful grand opening and soft opening. So we go through it all inside of the academy. You also get 6 months of live support and coaching calls from us and a community of other people. So you can come learn from other people, get that support and community from us. So that program is available to open. We also have a free master class going on that's right now available for you to watch. It's about the 5 things that we wish we would have known before we opened a brick and mortar business. So we go over those big mistakes that we made so that you can keep yourself from making those. So you can grab that at the link that's on the screen.
And we have the
If you
podcast too,
We
right?
do have a podcast as well called the Receipt Paper Podcast, where we share our own experiences and tips for you as well.
Yeah, we're open books for sure. We realize it's, we're here to help. All brick and mortar helps, right? The better it gets, we get as a whole, the better we are individually. And it's just good to share that information because it's tough. I mean, it's tough.
If you're listening, I'm going to put all the links and the link to the podcast on the show. Kyle and Jojo, thank you for coming on to the show today.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
thanks, Swire. We appreciate it.